Hello, I am the real-life fake wizard. On December 5th, 2025, Netflix announced that it has agreed to acquire the film studio, streaming, and entertainment businesses of Warner Brothers Discovery for somewhere between $72 to $83 billion in enterprise value. This merger would give Netflix control of WB's core assets in production studios, the HBO brand, the HBO Max streaming service, which would essentially just merge into Netflix. But more importantly, Netflix would gain ownership of some of the largest franchises in the world, like Harry Potter, the Lord of the Rings film rights, Superman, Batman, Game of Thrones, Looney Tunes, and countless more. A deal like this is massive, and it requires lots of nuance in discussion, yes. But from the most sincere position as your friendly neighborhood fake wizard who analyzes entertainment business, this is very, very bad. What we're looking at here is something that seemingly keeps happening in lots of industries, not just entertainment, not just gaming, not just movies. Mega corporations buy up and consume other companies in efforts to not only constrict the entire marketplace, but gain monopolization and complete control of said marketplace. Disney bought Lucasfilm, Pixar, Marvel, 20th Century Fox, and most recently Hulu. Amazon bought MGM, Twitch, and Audible. Sony bought Crunchyroll in 2021. I didn't know that till I researched for this video. In anime streaming, a lot of people say that Crunchyroll bought Funimation. That's not true. Sony owned Funimation, bought Crunchyroll, merged the two together, and dumped the Funimation name. Now, it's just Sony's Crunchyroll. In gaming, we see Microsoft acting like a kraken, pulling countless flagship companies down to the depths, acquiring ZeniMax Bethesda, Rare, Mojang, Obsidian, Compulsion, Playground, Ninja Theory, Double Fine, and of course, Blizzard Activision. Tencent, one of China's largest entertainment investment firms, is gearing up to acquire all of the most valuable Ubisoft properties for pennies on the dollar. Sony, again, bought Insomniac, Bungie, and Sucker Punch, to name a few. And Nintendo is over here saying this past November that they're gearing up to buy more companies too, almost like a threat to the planet. Followed by, just a few days ago, where Nintendo acquired Bandai Namco's division in Singapore, rebranding it to Nintendo Studios Singapore. And all of these acquisitions, all of these monopolization efforts in today's marketplace, well, they're happening for lots of reasons, sure. There are tax benefits and incentives, but the main priority for acquiring all these other companies is because of streaming. All of these companies directly have or share in some kind of streaming service. The streaming market benefits all of these companies in some way, and let's define streaming for this discussion as accessing digital goods from an aggregate service. Game Pass, Netflix, Disney+, Hulu, HBO Max, Crunchyroll, Paramount+, Prime Video, Ubisoft+, PlayStation+. Heck, even TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram fit this criteria now. It's all part of the streaming business model. And I'm here to tell you that streaming has killed creativity. It's destroyed cinemas and theaters. It certainly hasn't helped video gaming. No one knows how to tell a good story anymore, and the collective consumers, allowing all of this to take place because of convenience and because it's addicting, have no concept of how bad things have become, and they never will. And because of that, things are just gonna keep getting worse. It's the holiday season, and as the snow falls and the wind howls outside, nothing beats curling up under a blanket with a steaming mug of rich, hot cocoa while your favorite classics stream all night long. Or maybe you're watching the new Stranger Things. Regardless, that velvety chocolate warmth in your hands turns every movie marathon into pure comfort, making even the longest winter nights feel like a cozy gift. And I'm not talking about that powdery artificial crap you get in the supermarket. You need to try Wizards Hot Cocoa, available for a limited time on wizardstandard.com. This is the real stuff. This is premium Italian-style hot cocoa that Tom Hanks was singing about in the Polar Express movie. Remember the Polar Express movie? 2004 was 21 years ago. Get your hot cocoa today at wizardstandard.com. The entertainment business model has changed entirely with the growth of streaming, and at the end of the streaming takeover, customers like you and me and our opinions no longer matter. Let me explain. The original film business model was as follows. Companies invest in the creation of movies, those movies premiere in movie theaters, and then the theaters split the earnings with the production companies. Physical media also helped this system work as well. If a film failed to make its money back during its box office run, VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray sales would offset those losses at the box office. Sometimes physical media sales would be so successful, it would help keep those franchises afloat that might not have succeeded in theaters. Some of these examples will surprise you. Austin Powers, Harold and Kumar, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, The Evil Dead, Clerks, Boondock Saints, all of these films either did modestly or outright flopped in theaters, but still got sequels because the physical home releases did gangbusters. There's another angle to this too, and we learned this firsthand from an interview with Matt Damon. Production companies were willing to take larger risks on smaller projects during the physical media age. Because again, if the movie failed in theaters, DVD releases could push a film over the finish line and break even. Now, this was the original model. Today, the world is extremely different, and whereas the movie business is still about business, it's no more about making products to be sold for direct sales conversion, or at least that's what all these companies want to get away from. See, when a movie gets released and no one goes to see it, these companies don't make money. That's a loss. They don't break even. They lose millions of dollars. But with streaming, the metrics for defining success changes. The relationship between buyers and sellers changes, and not for the betterment of the buyers. Streaming success is measured in minutes watched, subscriptions maintained, and subscriptions created. And companies like Netflix care a lot more that you keep your subscription maintained month after month after month. This is partially why they don't call movies movies anymore. Shows aren't shows anymore. They're content, because Netflix and streamers like it don't need to deliver you movies and shows anymore. They need to deliver you content. They don't care if it's a 4-hour film or a 21-minute episode. It's all content now. It's all content that can be streamed on a never-ending loop. But again, why would companies want it this way? This past October saw one of the worst box office months in nearly 3 decades, bringing in only $425 million in the United States. Well, what were some of the movies to release in October? Roofman, The Smashing Machine, Black Phone 2, Good Fortune. Oh, and Tron Ares. Tron Ares was a legacy IP from Disney and had a production budget estimated to be close to $220 million. That's a lot of money, and after splitting earnings with theaters, for this movie to break even, it needed to generate closer to $450 million in theaters, and it did not. This movie is now up there with John Carter as one of Disney's greatest financial flops of all time. And that's a shame. As a Tron fan, whether or not I like the movie, which I didn't, the Tron world is super interesting, and I would have loved to have seen more things from this universe in the future. But after an embarrassment like this, Tron is likely dead forever. This was embarrassing for Disney. This movie wasn't even competing with anything else big in theaters, and it still tanked, which is not a good look. But you apply this movie to a streaming world where theaters and physical media aren't a thing, not a metric to be judged upon, and the truth is, it doesn't matter if people even watch this crap. What matters is that people stay subscribed, regardless of what is being made or what people are watching. If we look at Stranger Things on Netflix, this show had a 3-year hiatus between releases, with nothing in between that time. It aired exclusively on streaming, where people all over the world were able to watch this thing from their living rooms with almost no friction in between them consuming the show. And because of its popularity, it's now the most popular thing in the cultural zeitgeist. And Netflix loves that it's popular, because that means they'll maintain their 300 million subscribers, and anyone who isn't subscribed might be convinced now to subscribe because the hype around this show is just so big. But is Stranger Things the only property being developed right now? Is Stranger Things the only thing Netflix is putting out? No, not at all. If we pull up Netflix, we will see Sean Combs' The Reckoning, The Abandons, I don't know what that is, a Matt Rife comedy special, and a whole list of content marked as coming this week, or maybe for your screen, coming soon. No one is talking about any of those other projects. No one cares, really. We don't even know if people are watching that content, but it's there. Someone is watching it. We don't know if it's good or bad, and it doesn't matter. What matters is that there is at least one thing there to keep you subscribed month after month after month. It doesn't even need to be good. It doesn't even need to be bad. It doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that there's enough content for you to stay subscribed. Look at that Tron Ares example from earlier. If it hadn't gone to theaters, and maybe if the budget was within reason, if that was dumped onto a streaming platform, I'm not even saying just Disney Plus, but if it was streaming first, more people likely would have seen it in a single day than will ever see this film now. Like, there would have been more demand to watch it at home on the couch on launch day than it will ever be seen after it's come out, failed, and everyone who did see it said it was garbage. That's the streaming advantage. Word of mouth doesn't matter. Direct sales don't matter. Whether you watch something or not really doesn't matter. Sure, if something gets a lot of watch time, they'll keep making more of it, but it changes the conversation for these megacorporations. No longer does Disney or Netflix or anybody have to duck and weave around answering questions in shareholder conferences about why people didn't go see The Little Mermaid or Snow White. Instead, they'll just get to say, our movie got millions and millions of views this quarter. And being able to say that is not only domination of the entertainment marketplace, it's just a control on entertainment, period. I feel like now is a good time to talk about movie theaters. If it isn't already obvious by everything I'm saying here, movie theaters are dead, and they deserve it. Like, the entire theatrical business model is toast, especially with a possible Netflix Warner Brothers merger. Earlier, I said most people watch Stranger Things with almost no in-between friction. And by that, I mean friction is people don't need to drive to theaters. They don't need to pay to see the film, which means they're not taking a risk on feeling like they lost $100 if the movie turned out to be bad. I quote $100 because that's the average admission for a family to go to a theater. Popcorn and extras could cost up to $40 or more. The floors are sticky, and depending on where you are in the country, the United States, I mean, theaters might be 30 plus minutes away. And you know what? People would still go to theaters if the movies were worth going to see. The theater experience might have friction to it, but people would have continued paying for these experiences if the experiences were worth having. Yeah, it's easier to just start watching the movies at home, but if you knew that a movie was playing in theaters and that it was gonna be really good, you'd make the trip. You'd pay the admission price. People still do, a handful anyway. But the content being made now is so weak, it's so mediocre, it's so forgettable. It just doesn't matter where you watch it anymore. Going to theaters isn't special because the content played inside of them isn't special. And for that, theaters deserve to die. The entire theater business is predicated on Hollywood making movies worth going to theaters to see. They aren't anymore. They're making forgettable, empty-calorie films that seldom incentivize people to have a reason to even care. Here's a good example. I am not a Five Nights at Freddy's guy, but that second film just dropped this past weekend, and I figured I would see it so I could cover it here on the channel. So I decided to watch the first film in preparation. And that movie, which released in 2023, was absolutely terrible, that I was offended that I wasted my damn time. And clearly I didn't go see the second film. And okay, yeah, maybe I'm more extreme than most people, which I know I am. I'm more calculated and probably cynical. I'm much more judgmental about entertainment because I care so much. But I'm an outlier. Many of you watching this are different kinds of outliers too. That's fine. Normies, on the other hand, normal folks, they just don't care anymore because that's what's airing in theaters. So if it's just not good, I'll just wait, watch it at home, and save a few bucks. Now, do you think that Netflix is going to inspire their production studios to make better content after this Warner merger is done? Do you think they care? Do you think they give a damn about movie theaters at all? They don't care if things are good or bad. They just care that you stay subscribed. They don't care about creating sequels and shows that honor beloved legacy IPs. They care that your credit card charges don't stop. And if they keep rolling out show after show and movie after movie, even if it's just so-so, even if it's just enough for you to listen while scrolling on TikTok, that is a victory to them. Streaming is the death of storytelling. It's the end of being required to be creative to win an audience. It's just one more step closer to humanity becoming the chair people from the movie WALL-E, plugged into a matrix and watching television forever and eating pizza off of pizza trees. Actually, the pizza trees don't sound so bad. Anyway, until next time, create, innovate, inspire, and for the love of God, cancel Disney+. We talked a lot about Netflix today, but the same conversation applies to Disney. If Netflix does an adaptation of Looney Tunes, they're gonna make Bugs Bunny trans, aren't they? Like actually trans. Oh boy.